Reports started coming in within the hour about an accident on a ride at the North Carolina State Fair.
Emergency personnel are actually right now at that area.
We're going to have everybody working overnight to try to get you the latest information.
We are getting some new information this hour.
We have a minute-by-minute account of exactly what happened last night.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the families.
And of course, we will continue to follow this investigation.
WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
And we want to get back to that breaking news. Reports started coming in within the hour about an accident on a ride at the North Carolina State Fair. Now, that accident involved a ride called the Vortex. We're told at least 4 people were transported to Wake Med. We do not know at this point the severity of their injuries, but they were taken as trauma patients.
Yeah, Gerald and Jackie, this is a very serious situation that's unfolding out here at the State Fair tonight.
Said they were walking down, everything seemed normal, then a rush of emergency personnel came rushing from behind past them, running to this area, throwing up barricades as quickly as they could. Of course, lots of fairgoers were wondering what is going on. A lot of people wondering what could have happened. They come around the corner, this is in a corner of the fair, and they saw a number of people laying on the platform of this Vortex ride. We were told that some of them weren't moving. It wasn't clear if that was because of their injuries or because of the shock of the whole thing.
We called Chief Meteorologist Greg Fishel. He was there at the fair, and he went over to the scene to get as close as he could. He is now standing with Ken Smith to talk about what he experienced. Guys?
Yeah, Gerald, Greg, as you said, was working the WRAL booth tonight, and this happened around 9 o'clock, and you had just finished your shift.
I had, and I had just gotten to the gate on Blue Ridge Road to walk back to the car, and I got a call from the news department that there had been a really bad accident and to head down to the Old Midway, which I did.
And when you got down to the Old Midway, what did you see exactly?
There were just a few flashing lights. I don't know if they were the police cars or the last of the ambulances, but they were just leaving. And there were a number of police officers and sheriffs and so forth that were there. I motioned to one of them, and they were nice enough to come over and sort of tell me what they knew at that point, which really was not a whole lot at that time.
And you had a chance to talk to some people who saw what happened. What did a few people tell you?
Well, the one encouraging thing was that one of the gentlemen said that 3 of the 5 victims were conscious and able to communicate, and obviously we took that as a positive sign. There was another, and you know, I hesitate to say this because you just don't know, but something along the lines that at least one of the people may have been airborne for a short time.
You know, it's kind of the metal floor, you know, on those rides, and just heard slamming, and it was more than just normal walking and things like that. It was multiple slams.
Gilly says those slams were riders hitting the floor of the Vortex.
Towards the front of the ride, there was someone laying there. There was also someone towards the back of the ride.
As the victims recover, Gilly and Miller say their thoughts are with those who were hurt and their families.
It's terrible. I mean, people come here to have fun, and something like that happens. It's terrible.
Nick Mioli says the Vortex was one of the better rides at the fair.
I like how it went upside down and then spun you around when it was upside down.
It was those same quick moves, he says, that caused so many terrifying moments.
It just went chaos.
The ride had stopped. Mioli and others were unbuckled and leaving. He and a friend had gotten just a few feet away when he says the Vortex rumbled back to life.
And while we were running, the machine's faster than we are, and so it's zooming past us.
Mioli says some people were still on the ride, but they were not secured in their seats. The 13-year-old tells us what he saw next.
You see people because it's twisting around, and then they started screaming because like they just went on the ride and they know how it's gonna play out, and all of a sudden you see it just go upside down and then people falling, and they're just screaming like, is this, oh my gosh, what just happened? Like,
they weren't buckled in, or?
No, I saw the metal gate and then the foam gate up in the air. They were just hanging onto the sidebars, I'm guessing.
There were severe injuries and blood on the platform below the ride. Mioli says some of those who fell landed only feet away from him.
I'm in shock, because like I didn't expect a fun night to go into a shocking night or a terrible night.
I was just looking, I said, this isn't good, you know, something's happened over here, these people aren't moving.
Right now in WRAL, witnesses were horrified by what they heard and in total disbelief. over what they saw. Tonight, we're getting a better idea of what happened in the moments before and after an accident at the North Carolina State Fair. 3 people are hospitalized tonight. 2 of them have been released. Authorities say all 5 were injured when the vortex threw them to the ground. Hello, I'm Gerald Owens.
And I'm Jackie Highland. This was breaking news at 10 o'clock last night. Sky 5 is in the air right now, bringing you these live pictures of the Midway and the area surrounding the ride. We are working several angles of this story tonight, and within the last 15 minutes, the 911 calls were released. A warning: this call is distorted.
That's how we're going to stand here at Vortex, and there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people down. They fell from about 30 feet, about 15 to 20 feet.
We have our crew spread out across the fairgrounds right now. Ariel Clay spoke with witnesses.
And Brian Schrader has been asking questions to figure out exactly what went wrong. We begin with David Crabtree, who is leading our coverage at the fairgrounds tonight. David?
The switch on the Vortex, we found out today, failed earlier this week. Now, we are also told that inspectors took care of that problem and gave it a clean bill of health and said the ride could operate again. We want to emphasize it is unclear tonight if that had anything to do with the accident, but we did learn that there was a problem earlier this week.
This is still an active crime scene as Wake County Sheriff's investigators and labor inspectors take a look at this ride. And you're looking live now at a group of those investigators, including Wake County Sheriff Donnie Harrison. They've been working out here this afternoon. You see they're comparing notes. They've been talking to witnesses out here. They said they had dozens of witnesses they needed to speak with as they continued this investigation. A Wake County Sheriff's deputy noticed Monday night the Vortex was down and Midway crews were working on it. It was a faulty switch that locks the ride when the safety harnesses are up.
They repaired it, we checked it, the ride went back into operation.
It's part of a wide-ranging investigation into Thursday's incident.
You've got to cross T's, you've got to dot I's, leave no stone unturned. You've got to look at everything.
The Sheriff's Office needs your help in this investigation. If you shot any cell phone video around the time of the incident, they want to hear from you. Apparently, surveillance cameras around the Midway did not capture it. Investigators and fair officials say they will find out what happened, but this investigation will take time.
We're not to that point yet. The sheriff is not to that point yet. The labor department is not to that point yet, but we're going to get there.